Everyone. Today I'll be analyzing To Pimp and Caterpillar by Kenny Bradley. It's from But in Poetry, the list of videos that was lifted in Canvas. So I chose this poem because it relates to a very important chapter that I had to overcome in my life. But I'm so proud that I made it through and that I'm in a much better space now. As I was watching and listening to Kenny speak, I noticed that he acts so in depth as he says the words in the poem. It's almost as if he's urgently trying to get every word out, like it needs to be said. In addition, he makes a 3-second pause so the audience has time to think about the previous words that he spoke. The tone of his voice fluctuates a little as he utters the words. While he says some verses in a higher tone and some in a lower, he also exaggerates his words a little. And it shows at 0.49 seconds into the video when he says, "Why love yourself if no one loves you?" Was the easiest broken mentality to adapt to. With certain words that Kenny says, he tends to close his eyes and put his right hand curved and points it to his chest, where his heart is nearly located, standing up straight tall. For instance, at 1 minute and 4 seconds through 1 minute and 26 seconds, he utters, 7 years later, I'm still gaming the system as a caterpillar, inching my way through life's stormy terrains. I'm breaking the depression filled needles that shackled my thoughts, diving into my ribcage to understand why my heart only beats when it's in relationships. Because I used to think that growing meant evolving, that you have to metamorphose into something bigger than what you are, but that's not growth. As Kenny says those lines, he is so engaged and in tune with his emotions. It almost sounds like he's crying a little when he's saying certain words because of how deeply and dramatically he acts and moves as he talks. At 2 minutes and 28 seconds, Kenny uses symbolism when he talks about the butterfly and the caterpillar. The caterpillar represents personal growth, while the butterfly represents becoming the person he is meant to be. This strengthens the poem because it shows that growth takes time. He also uses metaphors by comparing himself to a caterpillar instead of saying he is literally one. This helps me understand that he's still changing and learning through life's challenges. There is imagery in the lines about canoeing on Cancun streams and looking at his reflection. Those details create a picture in my mind and make his dream of self love and peace feel more realistic. Kenny also uses repetition with the word I throughout the passage. I meant throughout the video in the poem. And this keeps the focus on his personal journey and makes his message about growth and self-love more powerful. The poem has a strong beginning because Kenny immediately introduces his struggle with self-worth and draws the audience in. Around 0.59 seconds into the video, the poem shifts into the middle as he reflects on being a caterpillar, inching his way through life's thorny terrains, as I mentioned earlier in the video, showing the emotional battles he had to overcome. And this builds suspense because you wonder if he'll ever find peace within himself. The ending brings everything together by showing that true growth comes from loving yourself instead of depending on others for validation. The pacing is steady with pauses that give the audience time to process his words, and the organization flows naturally from his pain to his healing, and finally to the message, and finally to his message of self-love and personal growth. While watching Kenny's poem, To Pimp a Caterpillar, I learned that someone else's presence shouldn't be able to control how you feel or act because most of the time it's a them problem, especially if you're being yourself and you're showing that you value the relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship with a sibling, your mom, your dad, or even a marriage. Love yourself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't value or respect you. Your worth should not be embedded in someone else's and how someone else makes you feel or how they view you. Your feelings are valid and you deserve a love that reflects just that. Well, that concludes my video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.